Here's some homework help. You can just watch whichever parts you need. So this denominator is going to factor into x times x squared minus 4, and that's going to factor into x times x minus 2 times x plus 2. So there's no repeated factor here, so this is not the kind that we just had in today's lesson. This is the kind you had in the last lesson. And so we're going to make three fractions. So this original fraction can separate into some fraction with a denominator of x, so we'll call this a over x, plus some fraction with a denominator of x minus 2, so I'll call that b over x minus 2, and some fraction with a denominator of x plus 2, c over x plus 2. Then we'll multiply both sides of the equation by x and x minus 2 and x plus 2. And so what we get is x squared plus 12x plus 12 is equal to a times the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x plus 2 plus b times x plus 2 plus c times x minus 2. Okay, now I'm going to use the method where we substitute in convenient values of x. So I'm going to let x equal 0. And we get 12 equals, we have a times negative 2 times positive 2. So that's going to be negative 4a. And then we have b times 0, c times 0. Okay, so we have 12 equals negative 4a. So now we know that a is negative 3. 1 down, 2 to go. Now let's let x equal 2. So what do we have on the left? I didn't compute that ahead. 2 squared plus 24 plus 12. And that's 40. Okay, so we have 40 equals, and this is going to be 0, and the last one's going to be 0. So we have b times 2 times 4. So we have 8b. 40 equals 8b, so b is 5. And now let's let x equal negative 2. So what's that? So negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 24 plus 12. So that's negative 8. Negative 8 equals, and this one's going to be 0, and this one's going to be 0. So all we have left is c times negative 2 times negative 4. So that would be 8c. So c is negative 1. Okay, so we can put those into our fractions, and we get negative 3 over x plus 5 over x minus 2 minus 1 over x plus 2. Now, on the answer key, I have them in a different order. Of course, it doesn't matter what order they're in, because addition is commutative. Okay, so that's number 6. Now number 7. Okay, so this one is going to have a repeated factor because we see the x squared. So this is going to be like today's lesson. And it's going to break down into a fraction with a denominator of x, and a fraction with a denominator of x squared, and a fraction with a denominator of x plus 1. Now let's multiply both sides of that by x squared and by x plus 1. So we get 4x squared plus 2x minus 1 is equal to a times x plus 1 plus b times x plus 1 plus c x squared. And now I'm going to let x equal 0, and I get negative 1 equals, we have 0, we end with 0, and in the middle we have b times 1. So negative 1 equals b. Now I'm going to let x equal -1. And so I have, let's see, 4 minus 2 minus 1. 1 equals, and this time, this is going to be 0, the next one's going to be 0. We have c times -1 squared, so we have c times 1. So c is 1. And now I'm going to let x equal, what do you think would be good? How about 1? Sure, why not? Okay, so we have 4 plus 2 minus 1. So 5 equals a times 1 times 2, 2a, plus b times 2, and b is -1, so that's going to be -2, plus c times 2 squared, so c times 4, oops, c times 1 squared, so c times 1, and c is 1, so that's going to be 1. So we have 5 equals 2a minus 1, so 6 equals 2a, should be an equal sign. So a is 3. Okay, so putting that all together, we have 3 over x minus 1 over x squared plus 1 over x plus 1. All right, number 8. The denominator factors into x squared times x plus 1. So, is that what we just had? Well, that's handy. We have another x squared times x plus 1. We're getting good at this. Okay, so this is going to change to separate into a over x plus b over x squared plus c over x plus 1. Multiply both sides by all of that, and we get x minus 1 equals a times x plus 1 plus b times x plus 1 plus c times x squared. Let x equal 0, and we have -1 equals, the a term is 0, the b term will be b, and the c term will be 0. So now we know b. Let's let x equal -1, and we get -2 equals, the a term will be 0, the b term will be 0, the c term will be c times -1 squared, that's just c. So now we know c. And let's let x equal 1. So we get 0 equals a times 1 times 2, so 2a, plus b times 2, and that's -1 times 2, so -2, plus c times 1 squared, and that would be -2 times 1 squared, so that's -2. We can add the 2 and 2 to both sides. We get 4 equals 2a, so a is 2. So let's put all that together. We have 2 over x minus 1 over x squared minus 2 over x plus 1. Double check, is that the answer I have on my answer key? Yes, it is. Okay, we have one more. This one's going to separate into a over x minus 3 plus b over x minus 3 quantity squared. And so we're going to multiply both sides of that by x minus 3 quantity squared. And we get 3x equals a times the quantity x minus 3 plus b. Now let's let x equal 3. And we have 9 equals a times 0 plus b. So b is 9. Let's let x equal 4. So we have 12 equals a times 1 plus b. And we know b is 9. So now we know a is 3. Okay, so let's put these into our fractions. We have 3 over x minus 3 plus 9 over x minus 3 quantity squared. Ta-da! Very good.